Greetings and salutations, travelers. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads. And welcome back to our Around the Hearth discussion. This time we're discussing online tabletop gaming. We're going to be discussing different virtual tabletops briefly, and then kind of navigating and running the game and playing in it and all those type of things, because we've got people here that are from the GM side and the player side for online gaming. So that should work out for us as far as different things for us to cover and viewpoints. Announcements first before we get into that, as usual. I'm going to do our announcements first to let everybody think about what their announcements are. Like Levi's got our spotlight and stuff like that. So, announcements for the Inn of Planar Crossroads. This is coming out in August, so you guys can already probably see at least the placeholder graphics I've got up for the webpage. Lord willing, that'll be the case. So that'll be up there. And the other announcement, we were going to be hopefully getting pretty close to our 1,000 subs. And when we get there, we'll start putting together all the things for the giveaway. Like I've got some dice. Got some dice and fiddly bits and doobly doos and stuff like that. PDF. It's going to be a free PDF of the Cluckin and the other chicken races. So, yes. And I'm going to try to do like doodles for them, but I am not guaranteeing it. So that's just tentative. But anyway, I think that's what I've got.
I'm excited.
So now, Dan.
Hello, it's Dan from Avenue Studios. I'm super excited. They're above me in the chat window. Jacob and Michelle from our team are joining us as well. Look at those cuties.
Yeah.
But anyways, our biggest announcement, of course, if you don't know, you can find us on YouTube, Rumble, and anywhere podcasts are. We have begun our live streaming as of recording this. And we did decide after all those times I said Twitch, we're actually just going to stick with YouTube for a multitude of reasons that are neither here nor there. But we're sticking with streaming on YouTube, and so you'll be able to find all those live streams if you miss them most of them in our AV Epics playlist. And of course, they'll be uploaded to Rumble and podcast afterwards as well. For the month of July, we'll be doing the Pathfinder 2E beginner box, and Jacob will be running that game. So thank you, sir. And of course, again, that'll be in a playlist, and we'll see where that leads us. We might keep going on that. We're going to be playing all kinds of systems. Yeah. But anyways, so that's our biggest thing. And of course, I forgot to mention that we're slowly getting our background set up. We even got some little colored lights playing.
I see a hobbit hole door, I think.
Yep.
And
and a little window. That's Kristen got those for Ingrid. If you want to check out Bomb Squad campaign, there may be a gun here for Brick.
And there's a cup or vase or something over to the side.
Yeah. My favorite's this little dude here. Kristen found him. It's awesome. And that's, of course, our logo in metal. So, anyways.
Oh, wait.
There's going to be
if you get a theme song and you say, this is our theme song in metal, and then you have somebody do it, see?
I want that to be a reality. That's awesome.
Wait. What if they do the Bomb Squad theme in metal?
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
I'm down with
it. So anyways, before I take up too much time, that's all our announcements.
Okay.
Check us out. Join our Patreon or locals if you want to support us, and you get access to a lot of cool stuff as well, and support Adam as well, and maybe someday you'll buy Levi's pies. Who knows?
Hey! Whenever in the future, when the Inn of Planar Crossroads is built in person, you'll be able to get Levi's pies.
Levi's pies.
I'm hungry.
Speaking of
Sadly,
Levi,
pies don't ship well.
No.
All right. So I am going to be shouting out the free map-making software Inkarnate that is browser-based. I have used it for some attempts at digital games, and it's been a nice way to not need broader art skills to work on building maps.
There we go.
Now you still need some like composition skills, is how I would phrase it.
Yeah.
So my maps are still mediocre, but they exist, as opposed to me just staring at things, and you can use them on online virtual tabletops, which was part of the reason I wanted to specifically shout it out.
Solid.
And it is free, which is the reason I have used it, because I am generally cheap.
Yeah.
Practical, you mean. Practical.
I mean,
Yeah.
I have no personal negative connotation with cheap. It's like, I don't want to spend money when I don't have to. We're good.
Fair
Frugal
enough.
is the word. Frugal.
There it
Yeah.
is,
Yeah, but I'm not picky on the word.
Hey, now, that is not fair. Because when we start talking about stuff, you get all picky with the words. And it's
Oh, I
like,
do, but that's
hey.
because in that case there is a strong difference of meaning. This is all about connotation. In that case, you're trying to talk about technical philosophy. We are talking about nitpicking central. That is what that is.
I see. how it
Philosophy
is.
is all about the nitpick. In this case, I don't care if you call me cheap or frugal. It will not bother my feelings either way.
I see. Yeah.
I love it.
All right.
Nitpicking Central is going to be a new campaign setting.
Ooh. Nitpicking
Although
central.
I gotta tell you, philosophy class is nitpicking central. Like, don't.
Yeah.
It's true. It's just true. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why I never took philosophy. I don't like. I believe in objective truth. But that's beside the point. We'll not dive into it. We got to get into this chat.
I know.
Back away, everyone.
Okay.
Back up.
Step back.
So
You're an
Inkarnate.
edge.
So Inkarnate. I'll have a link to it in the description, or the doobly-doo. It's technically called the doobly-doo. So I'll have a
Yes.
description in the doobly-doo for it. And I have fiddled with it before, and probably will make my own account for free to do a few things with it as well at some point. But I mean, I've taught myself GIMP, so, and I like doing things with my hands, so it's so frustrating to not be able to do with my hand, with the mouse, what I do with my hands. But
Oh yeah. Tablet stencil is a little better, but it feels different still.
I was so close to buying a tablet to doodle, but
Yeah. Anyway,
gotta have investment. If you want to see my drawings doodled out on a tablet, support the Interplanar Crossroads at Patreon Subscribe Star, or soon-ish locals. Maybe by this time maybe the time this comes
digitally
out.
throw money and more art can be actually used for a digital format.
There you go.
Love it.
All right, we better get into this. So,
Let's do it.
sit down, travelers, by the fire with us, or simply by the cool hearth. Take off your shoes and set them on that nice, chilled stone. Grab your preferred beverage of choice, and join us as we discuss online tabletop gaming. And since this was, since these topics were requested by Jacob, he gets to start us off. That's how it works.
Awesome. So, first of all, I personally love tabletop RPGs. I don't know. That's probably why we're here, right? To get past that point. Things switched over to virtual for me, and I find it very efficient and available and easier to connect with people. And how often is scheduling so difficult, or people you want to meet around the world and play with? I mean, what's your go-to? You gotta do Foundry, or not just Foundry, but all VTT. Obviously, my favorite is Foundry.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. I have done multiple different VTTs, and I personally fall in love with Foundry. But the biggest thing with any VTT is, as long as it's fulfilling what you need it to do, it's perfect for your team. I mean, they're nice to have the maps. I mean, Theater of the Mind is great, right? Using your mind, and it's a good time. But it is, like we were saying, Inkarnate, and there's lots of other different map making programs, or you draw your own. Using them virtually is a lot of fun. And so this allows you to do that. It actually helps take away some of the nitpicky stuff that you do at a table, like persistent damages, poisons, all of that kind of stuff. Makes it a lot easier to track than on the table. I mean, I don't know how many times Dan can understand this. you put a bane or a boon on something and you just lose track of it. Well, with
defend, interrupt.
Well, there's that too. With virtual tabletop, usually that stuff's easier to keep track of as a GM for the GM side. Because I cannot at the table be checking everybody's sheets and stuff. I just don't have that. And then with new players, it's fun. It's wonderful. And the thing is there's free ones out there. So there's ones you can pay for free. So there's, if you want to be cheap or frugal, there's options out there. I know that, Dan, we've played on Roll20 together. I've ran a game for you on Roll20. I think like one session of that, but still, that's one that we've touched before. And it is nice to be in your own home, your own comfort levels, and, pants are always optional on VTT, so that's nice. But so, well, I'm just saying.
I mean, some people would argue pants are always optional, but I disagree.
Well, but it just brings able to connect with so many people. I run games with people in Hungary, Berlin. I've run people with games with Australia. Dan, you and I ran that Open Legend game with people in Australia online, and that was fun. That was a while back now. But it's nice to have, you can pull in so many more people. You can do the paid DM stuff. So obviously, that's hard in person. But then you're inviting people into your house. That's another thing, too, is you get to meet and grow and learn with all of these different people. But I don't know who here has done a lot of VTT. So I don't know if you guys have a favorite one. Obviously, I've mentioned mine. I love Foundry. It sits well with me with multiple systems. It's a one-time payment, and it's yours. And the community, the Discord community with Foundry has been super awesome. You ask for something, and they try to get right to it. They got people working on stuff all the time. But there's a lot of good options. So I don't know. Dan, you've done some Roll20 with me. What do you think of Roll20?
Yeah, I like Roll20. I am partial to Foundry as well, but Roll20 is nice, especially because they've been established for a while with D&D specifically. I don't think Pathfinder is as big on Roll20.
Well, that's where I ran Rise of the Runeworks twice. But
The first Pathfinder.
So I didn't. I both ran and played in Roll20. I gotta say, the damage calculation stuff is nice to have.
Yeah, especially when you get to the higher levels and every big numbers. So,
yeah. I don't know where they want to take it specifically, but the one thought that pops in too for me from the player side is also just the little things like tokens. Like just being able to throw an image up on your character. You can start to really relate that character to that image. And just, I don't know, I really like that. If you're liking to get nitty gritty with maps and stuff too, it does really help to have that because you have the grids. Being able to control everything, and if you get into hotkeys and everything too, it's really smooth and efficient.
drawing on the map.
Yes.
Quick, lit this on fire. It's so easy to do. And you can make it look nice. Or flood something, you can just drop an overlay of water and boom, it's flooded, And
I'm laughing too because also as on a GM side note, learn how to erase the player's drawings.
Yes.
As a player,
Because
my fellow players and I would always
yes, they will doodle. Even if you tell them, hey, stop doodling, they'll doodle anyway.
A side note to you players, see if the GM is really zoomed in. You zoom farther out on the map and you start drawing in the corner where they're not looking.
so then when they zoom out, have a great image. Yes.
Perfectly appropriate for streaming image.
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
I know.
But I think, yeah. Jacob makes such a good point. It really is the big thing about it is the scheduling, the ability to play, the ease of it. Because you, like, for most of us here have kids, and it's like, I'm doing online, okay, I can put my kids to bed and just quickly on the computer. kids are playing outside. Otherwise, it would be like, oh, we got to find a babysitter. We got to go to the person's house. As impossible it is to replace, for me, I love being in person.
Mm-hmm.
But the ability to be able to play online is pretty awesome. And there's just a lot of different ways to do it.
I mean, a man with tons of assets of D&D and tabletop RPG stuff, period. I obviously love the interpersonal, but there's a lot of benefits to playing online. So,
yeah. And I think about, too, I don't know if this is... I would have played a ton more when I was a teenager if VTTs and online stuff, like I just couldn't find anyone to play with.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like now you don't have that problem if you put the time in to find a community and get connected with some people. So
Yeah.
it's worth the trade-off.
I do not have the time to play in all of the games that are available for me at this very second. Between the different TTRPG communities I am in, I have personally turned down quite a few games that were an option. Whereas when it was just in person, I had my one group, my one game. That was it.
Yeah.
yeah.
So just the point of like, if you look around and you go on TTRPG communities, you can find games.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yes.
And as you guys have been saying, that is a lot different than it used to be. It has really changed the space of tabletop. I know that people like to talk about, oh, Critical Role did this, or oh, D&D 5e did this, or something like that. The biggest revolution to the tabletop gaming scene has been online, the ability to play online. It's not actually been those other things. I know that it can be, you can get into different camps for different things, and there are people who really like Critical Role and want to attribute the success of lots of things to Critical Role, but D&D 5e was going to be D&D 5e with or without Critical Role. Now, there is symbiotic relationship there. There is cross-platform promotion on that. But the thing that did the most was not that these voice actors were playing, but then it was that you, as a viewer of any system you want to put in here, but we're talking specifically about the 5e influence, you as a 5e wanting to play person, you wanting to play 5e, now have a online space to go to that is supporting that and ready for you to find somebody to play with through message boards and forums. That's stuff you had to do by going to multiple different sites in the early days of the internet. So many people forget about the early days of the internet where forums was where you went to find things, and there wasn't a Control F feature. Like, I didn't find out about the Control F search feature until I was, like, not last year, but like 2 years ago. And I'm like, where has this been all my, like, Control F on your browser? For those who don't know, you hit Control F and you can search any word off your browser screen or off any kind of screen you have on your computer. That was good. But the update to the tabletop space of that, as Dan mentioned, he would have played a whole bunch in his younger days.
Yep.
Because we're, super old in our 30s.
Super old.
There's that gray coming in right in here. So. But it makes us look distinguished.
Indeed.
Well, in this case, it's more realistically just discussing like the speed of technology's change, as opposed to specifically your age.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I know for me though, VTTs in general, there is, like Dan was saying, the images, you can share images. It's so quick to be like, check this creature out. Boom. You put it in the chat. You put it on their screen. It pops up. And then you get to see their reaction. Sometimes that's difficult at the table. Tokens get expensive. And, at the end of the day, VTT has saved me money. It's kind of.
Michelle is looking back there. Is it has?
It's attempted to.
Yeah.
But it's also opened up gateways to do professional dungeon mastering. And that, for me, that has been a huge blessing for our family and for myself, too, which I have been doing some of that. And like I said, that would be hard to do in your own home. Or you're paying a store to use their tables or whatever it may be.
Or you're going to other people's homes, which is a little spooky.
Right. You get bit by their dog. And you never know what can happen. But
Well, and also branching out clientele, like you're playing with people from different countries that you would no way have access to if you had to physically visit.
Yeah. Which has been a learning experience.
Yeah, it's really special. The other thing too I was thinking about when you were mentioning that is just the fact of it also opens up space for people like someone who might not feel like they can verbally describe things very well. You're doing VTT, like one of the DMs I had when I first started doing it, he would just pop up pictures. He's like, this is the bad guy, and it's some Google image. He just Googled what he was looking for. This looks close enough. I've got a monster inspired by this image, and I don't really need to describe it. I can just send a picture. Pictures 1,000 words, all that good stuff. It allows a lot more people to run games and play games because you have access to audio and visual aids that you can throw in relatively easily compared to like Zach, of course, from Avenue Studios. He'd always bring his laptop when we play games, and he'd like spin it around and show us the screen and the image, and it's even easier to do that. Throw it in chat. And the other thought I had too is that we don't even need to specifically be in a VTT. If you're just doing theater of the mind, you could just hop in Discord or Google Meet. What is it?
And you can get a Discord dice bot.
Yep.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I have played purely theater of the mind Discord games where you have like a dice rolling channel, you have a in-character descriptor channel, you have an images channel, so you have those things so that way each one is like even like a secret actions channel.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
So because you can like spoiler for Discord, you would put your secret action in spoilers, and obviously it was like an act like by players' honor to not look at other people's secret actions, but so that way the GM could just look through everything. It was specifically for a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure game, which is beside the point.
Nice. But that's a good point too. Like with Discord, actually, Zach was running a game and with myself in it, and he made separate channels where only he, the GM, and then the player had access to that channel, and they could do little chats like that. They had backstory in there, and then whatever you wanted to share with everyone else, copy and paste over to the general or whatever. So that's a really good point too.
And that leads into the idea of something that's kind of gone to the wayside with modern gaming, the idea of doing a play-by-post type of game. That originated in forums and stuff like that, but it doesn't necessarily have to go away, especially if you're wanting to run background stuff that's happening in your world. Doing a play-by-post in a Discord or something would actually work really well for that. And that was something that Dan has kind of done with Jacob when he was doing stuff for the other group that was involved in the Bomb Squad game.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I've done it. I'm running the game I run every Wednesday. She's actually been reading it because it's been so good. Is I have a chunk on Discord in between games where they role play like the evening sitting at the tavern and their conversations, and like it's really, and it keeps them spicing through the week. They love it. And it's fun for me. The GM, I just let them go and watch them talk, and it gives me sometimes to talk about their backstory, even in just these play-by-posts. And actually, you'd be surprised if you type in, tabletop RPG play-by-post. There's a lot Discord community. There's still a ton going on, and
I've been in a couple.
Yeah.
There's specifically one that I know of called Cough Tea with the Coffee Lich.
Yes.
I have not even allowed myself to dive into that because I'd be
it's fun. I was playing a Bone Knight in there for a while. It was a good time. Sadly, that server is not super active at the moment.
Okay, I won't look it up.
But it was well, I mean, is a like level 15 open legend server,
Yeah, epic
Oh.
like
level
open
type
legend
thing.
RPG. Yeah. And it was just really absurd stuff about like kingdoms of tea and coffee and milk
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
and booze. I think there was a nation of booze, or maybe they were mostly
Yeah.
just mercenaries.
Beverage
That
based.
makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to say they're probably more libertarian.
There's a well, the like the lich became a coffee. He's called the coffee lich because he used coffee to become a lich, type of thing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So
Is a masterful barista.
Oh. Well, there is so much you can do with virtual now. You know, virtual tabletops. We've touched on play-by-post. We've touched on theater of the mind. It's a huge blessing for us because it allows me to be home more too and be able to run these games, play, and it's fun. It's sad because of my huge dice collection, but it's okay. It's okay.
hey, I mean, you can
Well, what
still
you do is you do
allow.
secret rolls with your own dice.
I do that. Sometimes I just roll to make the noise so that players think something's going on. They get all
Yes.
stressed out.
That is
Love
a
that.
solid tip. Roll when nothing's happening because the players
Yep.
will think something is.
As they're
As the
RPing,
GM
just
roll.
drop a couple dice.
Yep.
Yeah. Make faces.
Yeah, the chat goes quiet for a second, waits, and they continue. You know you've hit the right chord when it happens.
Love it.
So we've touched on things that are for that. Did you have something, Michelle?
No, I just keep the kids occupied out in the barn while he's playing in here. That's my role.
Okie dokie. Well, we've touched on using online gaming stuff for the actual point of online gaming, like gaming online. But there is a value for those that are not gaming online and are gaming in person, still
Yep.
making up a Roll20 or a VTT, any type of VTT
Yeah.
campaign for it, and just having the player, allowing the players to have that access even in a in-person game. That means that
Yep.
the GM can, like if they've got a TV or something, and they put the map right up on the TV through their laptop and say, okay, you guys are here, 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 who's moving here, you guys, and that can be valuable for a in-person game to still enjoy the visuals and the benefits of an online platform.
Actually, there's some really cool stuff happening with that. I was not going to dive into all of that, but there's also virtual 3D stuff where you're actually in there moving your minis, but also at the table, they're coming up with these little things that you can put on your screen and it goes through. I don't remember what kind of system it goes through, but you can actually, as you move your token on the map on this PV screen that you have on your thing, I think it's infrared, right? I don't remember now, but it literally will move it in like Foundry.
Yeah, I could see them using infrared like that because that's what remotes use. So
I'm pretty sure it's really cool. Some of the
That's
stuff
awesome.
in the works, but it's absolutely valuable at the table. I mean, I've used it where I've had two screens hooked up, one for displaying to my players the map, and the same idea using for VTT at the table is absolutely an asset.
that is a tip that I would give as someone who's run. I don't know, it may be different in Foundry, but in Roll20, it's good if you have like a blank character that is there for the GM to watch from the player side and see what the players see, and kind of have it in a separate tab or off to the, on a different monitor, so that you can see what you're seeing as the GM and then see what they're seeing as the players, because that can be helpful for making sure that everybody is seeing what they're supposed to. So having both sides of that, maybe putting a blank character in there to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm trying to think. I mean, I've used VTT for a lot of different things, even just planning stuff out. I mean, I've got on and just built a quick world and thrown some stuff in there just to see what it would look like. Just to kind of give a visual, like we were saying, the visual is nice. Because sometimes at the table, with kids, putting all that stuff out and setting it all up, I would love to do it every time, trust me. But, 3-year-old is like, ah! But there's just so many assets for DM and player, because I know with some of them you can have servers running. Players can hop on, mess around with their character sheet, check it. You know, I know I love building characters, so you give your players a couple character sheets to play around with. Even I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, if you're running a guild type setup, which I've done before, but not in a VTT net. Well, yeah, it was in a VTT. Players could actually have more than one character that they have in the guild. So depending on what mission the guild is doing or what party composition there is, they could have a different character go out each time. And those are good for like West Marches too and stuff like that.
Yep. Yes. I'm actually running a West March every Monday. Check it out on Start Playing Games. You can look me up. It's great, but we use Foundry VTT, and the West Marches are fun. But
Awesome.
Okay.
I mean, about what I got to say about Foundry or VTTs in general.
Okay. Well, we are at right about 30 minutes. So we could actually finish on time-ish.
Whoa.
Whoa. So, let's see. Any final remarks then on VTTs and such the like?
If you haven't tried them out, try them out. Reach out to one of us. We'll hook you up with a one-shot or something. I'm sure of it. And I'll run you through some stuff. I love doing it. So.
Jake stole what I always say. Go do it.
Go do it.
No.
Do it.
Do it. You gotta put the T there. Do it.
Yes. Do it.
All right.
But yeah, seriously. Play. Let's hear some stories. Let's hear some good VTT stories in the comments. I would love that.
Make me laugh.
Yes.
Or cry.
It's not hard. He laughs all the time. So.
Is this true? Do I laugh a lot?
Yeah.
I love life.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. All right then. What about you, Levi? Any final remarks?
I will confess that I've never run more than a one-shot on a VTT, but I have played games for, like, 10 levels and that thing, months of various different games over various different, well, mostly Foundry and Roll20. Roll20 a lot because it's entirely free. I don't find running games on VTTs as intuitive as having a wet erase grid in front of me.
I mean, it's classic. Just like a little wet erase grid. You doodles on it.
Yep. But, so I will be the one person who's a little like, I think best on paper. I have a hard time fully extrapolating that out and planning ahead what to have ready map-wise, / my Google Foo is too slow.
Well, I prefer in-person games, but it's hard to beat
I
the
should say,
convenience of
generally-
tabletop.
Oh, for sure. And that's why I've played a lot. I do prefer in person. I just haven't gotten myself to the point where I feel good running them on a VTT as of yet.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Give
there
it
is a learning
time,
curve.
young Padawan. Give it time.
Right, I'd have to practice more, but
Darn. Play more games.
Oh, what a shame.
run more games in this case.
Oh,
Touche.
All right. I think we've got enough for you guys to digest for now. So if you want to actually see a deeper dive into the different tabletop VTTs and our opinions on them, you can let us know in the comment section below. Otherwise, we appreciate you coming by and sitting with us as we discussed online tabletop gaming in general. Have a great day. God bless and enjoy. Bye.
Bye.
This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.
Oh, that is so good.
Hey.
We just got the
Look at that.
pop-up. We are on fire tonight.
After that, like, long intro and having to do some restarting and...
I
Yeah,
know, we did good.
man.
Like, that is impressive for us.
Yeah.
Although I think it was basically we were all like, "Hey, it's good. Please try it."
Yeah. It's like, yeah, give it a try. It's fun stuff.
It's I mean, it's hard to fight it because it is so available, and like you said, it can be free for everybody. Nobody has to drop a dime besides paying for your internet. Really, I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, even for Foundry, if like a group of like 4 or 5 saves up and buys one account for the group,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
$50 isn't bad. I mean, and what you get with that $50 is huge because you don't have to buy if you're doing Pathfinder Second Edition. Sorry, I know I get excited.
Oh, that I played from like levels 2 to 10 Second Edition on Foundry.
Yeah, and that's to me, it is their Foundry community is fantastic. I mean, just the support they have.
Yeah, I'm a little sad now that it doesn't work with Path Builder anymore.
Oh, I know. Oh. But they are. If you haven't played recently, they have updated the system, so now there's a lot more building options in it. So that was the whole point. Is they're working on integrating an actual character Mancer inside of Foundry.
Yeah,
I get it, but I'm like, I love Path Builder. It is something.
It's real good.
Great characters sounded for fun.
It's real good. Just
Fair enough. All right, we're gonna have to restart a call for this one, so I will send a new link momentarily.
I'm going out to the barn for.
We'll do it quick. I can do it.
But it's
Okay.
okay.
Whatever you need. I'm gonna send you.
I love her. That's my cousin, if you guys didn't catch that. Well, Adam knows
nice.
now. Yeah, Michelle's my cousin.
because I didn't catch it.
Yeah. That's why I call Jake my cousin, because he married her.
Yeah.
Cousin-in-law.
She's the best. She's being shy today.
Okay.
It's fair.
All right, I'll start us a new call.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.